Hey guys, today's video is all about discontinued makeup products that I loved that are no longer sold. I feel like I'm gonna get a little heated, a little upset in this video because it makes me so upset when brands get rid of perfectly good products. It's unfair to me. Don't you just hate when that happens? So today we're gonna talk about some products that I love. We're gonna kind of pay tribute to these products. I've seen quite a few YouTubers film similar videos, so I'm gonna go ahead and link as many as I can find down below. I would love for all of these brands to bring these products back. They probably won't do it because, you know, who am I to tell them to bring them back? But these are products I love and I'm just very sad that you can no longer purchase them. So I have a few palettes to talk about today. The first one is one that was actually discontinued and completely redone earlier this year. This is the Athr Rose Quartz Crystal Gemstone palette. Earlier this year, they got rid of this palette and they relaunched a new version of it. It's still called the Rose Quartz palette. It's now a 10 pan and it's completely different now. They only kept 2 of the original shades and I'm all for their reasoning for relaunching this palette because they did make it more affordable. It's now $48 and it used to be $58, and I'm all for that. I love when brands make products more affordable. They also changed up the packaging so it doesn't have this like elastic band closure anymore. It just closes on its own, but it's still a fully recyclable palette. Now it's even more recyclable because this elastic band is not recyclable. You could like reuse it for a hair tie, but anyway, it's not that I mind them changing the palette, but what bothers me is that they only kept 2 of the original shades. If they had just maybe gotten rid of 2 of the shades and repackaged and relaunched it, that wouldn't have bothered me as much. But the fact that they basically completely changed the palette, yet they're calling it the same exact thing, it just doesn't sit well with me. I wish they would have, if they were going to discontinue this at all, I feel like they should have just come up with a whole new palette instead of calling the new one Rose Quartz. And this palette was perfect the way it was. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It is a cool, rosy-toned, neutral dream. The mattes in here are the world's most blendable mattes, and the colors just work together beautifully. Now, don't get me wrong, the new version, objectively, to me, looks like a beautiful palette, and I'm sure it's great. I haven't tried it personally, so I can't compare the two, but I'm more so just upset that this rendition of this palette no longer exists because it was just perfect the way it is. I wouldn't change a thing about it, and it just makes me sad. Maybe one day I'll pick up the new one. If any of you have tried both, I would love to hear your thoughts on both, how you would compare the two, but I just missed this rendition of it. I think it was beautiful, just the way it was. Another palette that I'm so upset was limited edition. I was raving about this so much last year and this year too. The Urban Decay Stoned Vibes palette came out like early last fall and it was like their holiday palette for the year. This is such a beautiful palette. I don't understand why this is limited edition. Normally, Urban Decay shimmers don't impress me very much. I feel like they're just very average. There's nothing special about them. But these shimmers are gorgeous. They totally nailed these. They're like these creamy, kind of chunky, glittery, putty-like shimmers, similar to like ColourPop Super Shock shadows in texture, where they're not quite cream, but they're not quite powder. There's something in between. They just have the most beautiful, kind of translucent, scattered sparkle to them. I feel like there's nothing else quite like this that I've ever tried. The Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette has a similar vibe. It's the same kind of texture. They're still just not quite the same as these though. Today I'm wearing actually a combination of the Athr palette and this on my eyes, but the shade from this palette that I'm wearing is Vibes. It's this gorgeous like light soft purple. I've got that all over my lid. It's just so dimensional and beautiful. I will forever wish that they had made this permanent because unfortunately it's very hard to find now. It's no longer like officially sold. You may be able to find it at like Nordstrom Rack or something, but this totally should have been permanent. Speaking of that type of kind of cushiony, shimmery shadow, another thing that should never have been discontinued is the e.l.f. Long Lasting Lustrous eyeshadows. That was such an underrated eyeshadow. No one talked about it. That was one of those drugstore products that totally felt high-end. It had like that kind of cushiony, very similar actually to the Stoned Vibes shadows, that cushiony cream powder hybrid texture. They were so beautiful and foiled. I completely used up 2 of those. I used up the shade Toast, which was a gold, and last year I used up the shade Soiree, which was more of a mauve-y maroon kind of shade. That was one of those products that I was saying for a long time that they should kind of relaunch those, kind of, you know, re-advertise them and expand the shade range, because that was such a beautiful shadow. People are really into those kinds of one and done shadows lately, and I think they could have been really successful if they had just been more effectively marketed. But alas, they've been discontinued. I don't think you can find them anymore. Let me see, maybe you can find them on like random websites. Yeah, it looks like you can get them on like eBay, Poshmark. iHerb apparently has them, but I don't know. I'd be kind of wary because I'm sure they were manufactured like a long time ago, so they might not even be as good anymore, but I miss those. Those should have never been discontinued. They had so much potential, and I just feel like they never quite were able to reach their potential because they were never really advertised. Like, no one really knew about them. Such a bummer. This video's bumming me out, man. I'm sorry. It's kind of a downer. All right, while we're on the topic of e.l.f., another e.l.f. product that was actually recently discontinued. You guys probably remember me raving about this product like all year last year. It's their Keep Your Curl mascara. I love this mascara. This was another e.l.f. product that I felt like no one was talking about, and it was so good. It was kind of like a slightly curved plastic bristle brush. It made my lashes look incredible. It didn't smudge. A lot of people who tried that told me they had a hard time removing it. I never had that problem, and I thought it had great staying power, so, you know, I guess that was a bit of a trade-off there. But I know e.l.f. has not been necessarily known for making good mascaras, and in my opinion, that was the only good mascara in their entire line. And I guess it just wasn't selling, but they did discontinue it, and they have launched like 2 or 3 new mascaras this year. I haven't tried the Big Mood one. I probably won't, just because I don't tend to like that type of brush, but I am currently working through their Lash It Loud mascara. I'm actually wearing that today. I actually like what it does for my lashes, but it just smudges horribly, like worse than any mascara I've ever tried. Anyway, I feel like they should never have gotten rid of the Keep Your Curl. That was such an underrated product in their line, and I think they must have just had to replace one of their existing mascaras with their newer ones. I think they should have just kept that one. Maybe, again, like relaunched it, made a big thing about it, because I feel like a lot of people would love that mascara, but it is no more. I did see you can still buy it on like the e.l.f. UK website, so maybe if you're in the UK you can still get it, but it seems to be nowhere to be found here in the States. This is green tea, by the way, not beer. I know it looks like I'm drinking beer at 3:30 in the afternoon, but it's not. I'm not drinking my sorrows away about these discontinued products. Alright, it wouldn't be a discontinued favorites video without mentioning the entire brand of Jordana Cosmetics. Oh my goodness, of all the sad events of 2020, they really had to just beat us while we were down at the end of 2020 with that horrible news that Jordana was closing. They closed right at the end of the year. We basically had like 2 weeks notice or something. Like, it happened so fast. They were having like a huge clearance, like everything must go sale. And I know a lot of people tried to shop that sale and they never ended up getting their package, which was such a mess. I'm so sorry to anybody who tried to place an order during that time. I know like so many people were having issues, and I think everyone eventually got refunded, but what a mess. Anyway, I still miss Jordana. They were such an affordable drugstore brand. They were sold in a lot of Walgreens stores, although over the years they kind of started getting harder and harder to find, which eventually led to them just being completely discontinued as a brand. They were a sister brand to Milani, and Milani still exists. I think there were a lot of comparable products between the brands, but Jordana was just even more affordable than Milani, so I miss them terribly. They had so many amazing products. I won't talk about all of them today, but one of them that I had to talk about was their Take Cover Concealer. I was raving about that concealer all through like 2019 and 2020. It was so good. It was just a beautiful, creamy, hydrating concealer. I miss that one so much. I kind of wish I would have picked up another one when I ran out of it, but I don't know. I have so many concealers I need to work through, so there probably would have been no good reason to do that, but I miss that concealer. I know a lot of you loved it as well, and I still have 2 of them, but they had the best lip liners, and these were like $2 or $3. I still have Rock and Rose and Plush Plum. I'm actually wearing Plush Plum today underneath the Estate lipstick in, what's it called? Pina, I think. I also loved the shade Tawny for a long time. That was such an iconic one. I know a lot of people liked that one, but these were just great lip liners. They were nice and smooth, but they really would grip onto your lips and help your lipsticks last longer. Rock and Rose was just such a beautiful kind of brownish, but not too warm Nude lip liner. I wear this with so many different lip colors. And Plush Plum is a very kind of wine type of shade, beautiful for a lot of those bold fall lips. So I miss Jordana so much. I know they'll never come back probably, but such a great brand. Not enough people knew about them. I really tried. I really tried to keep them in business. I feel like for a while there, I was one of the only YouTubers that even talked about them anymore. All right, Pacifica is a brand that discontinues products so frequently, and one product from them that I totally fell in love with, one of the few Pacifica products that I've really loved. As a brand, they've been kind of hit or miss for me, but I love their Sun and Lip Care SPF lip balm. It has SPF 30 in it. I'm currently working on this in my project pan. I love this lip balm. It has, a good solid SPF of 30, and it's got like a little bit of a nude kind of beigey tint to it. It doesn't dry out my lips like I feel like a lot of SPF lip balms do. It doesn't taste funny. I actually feel like it does kind of help to hydrate and nourish my lips, and it's just a beautiful product. This is the second one that I've owned, and they discontinued it. Now they only sell an SPF 15 lip balm, which, I mean, I guess SPF 15 is better than nothing, but I want SPF 30 or higher, and I don't know why they got rid of this. It was perfectly good. They discontinue products a lot, which makes me reluctant to even try that much from the brand, because I'm like, well, what if I fall in love with something else and then I can't get it anymore? It's just so annoying. So yeah, Pacifica, bring back the SPF 30. I mean, come on, you had a great thing going on here. All right, lastly, I have two Anastasia palettes that I really think they should bring back. These should not have been limited edition. The Sultry palette, oh my goodness, this is so many people's favorite ABH palette. It is a beautiful neutral palette. It's very glam. It's got beautiful shimmers. I snagged this when they were selling it as part of a vault during the holidays last year. They kind of brought it back temporarily, which was a very smart move on their part. I know a lot of people jumped on that, and I ended up getting it on sale because after it had been available for a while, it went on sale for like half off, and then I used a coupon. I basically got the whole vault for like $15, which was such a good deal. And it came with this, a mascara, an eyeliner, and an eye primer, so it was like a whole bundle. It's just that great, ABH quality that they're known for, and I wish it weren't limited edition. And then of course, Subculture. I already talked about this in actually my last video as well, so I'm not going to go on and on about this, but I'm just saying I'm sad that this was limited edition because it's such a beautiful color story. A lot of people have said that this was kind of ahead of its time, and I totally agree. I feel like if this were to launch now, it would be a lot more successful. I think people just weren't ready. And on top of that, the formula, we've all been over this many times, but I do think they should have kept this color story in the original ABH formula and not changed it up. I think that was a mistake on their part, but I still love this palette. Wish that it were still available. They should totally bring it back. They should bring all these things back. If it were up to me, they would. But I'm sure all these brands have their reasons as to why these products were discontinued, but I'm just saying they should bring them back anyway. So I would love to hear in the comments below, what are some discontinued products that you miss, that you wish brands would bring back? Feeling kind of bummed out after filming this video, but I just wanted to pay tribute to some amazing makeup that is no longer available. I still love these products even though they're no longer available, so I will still be enjoying them. Luckily, palettes, I very rarely, if ever, go through an entire palette, so I don't really have to worry too much about that, but eventually they'll expire and I won't be able to replace them. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you've not already. I'd also love to hang out with you over on Patreon as well. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I'll talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.